thank God for another great day. We bless God so much for your life, and we thank God for seeing us through another week. And today, too, as you know, is Pastor's Desk on CACI TV. And I believe that for the past productions, you've been a blessed person. I know you've been giving us suggestions. I know you've been giving us ways. You've been recommending a lot of issues for us, and we thank God so much. Today promised to be another day, a day full of grace, a day full of insight, a day full of information. And I want you to stay clued and don't go anywhere, because we are about to discuss a very sensitive, important topic that has been going around, and you need better insight on that. Today we are looking at combining effectively the role as a father, as a husband, and as a successful career man. That is very important. We just celebrated Father's Day, and all these things will be addressed if we finish the discussing. So please sit down, call a friend, text a friend, and let's watch this program so that you be a blessed. Thank you so much. I'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Pastor's Desk on CACI TV, and I'm Pastor Solomon, the host of this program. As I said earlier on in my intro, we'll be looking at a very good topic, and that is combining effectively the role as a husband, as a father, and as a career man. And such a broad topic, you need someone who is in the knowledge of wisdom, someone who has the ability to explain and let us understand even what is a biblical connectivity of these roles as a father, as a husband, and as a successful career man. And as you know, Pastor's Desk is a desk that is a very hot desk, and you need a very powerful man. And today we are blessed with a very great man of God. We have Bishop Prince Benny Wood. Bishop Prince Benny Wood. He is a head pastor of Leadership Chapel International, and Bishop also played a role as a president of Wesley Synod International Ghana, and also the president of Concerned Clergy Association of Ghana, and also he's a president of Refiners Theological College. You see that the man is really blessed with knowledge. He's a very powerful man, and he is with us today to bless us with this discussion. Bishop, please, you are welcome.
Thank you for having me, and
happy Father's Day, because we are still in the month of June.
Yeah.
And therefore Father's Day, and it needs to be celebrated. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you,
Bishop. Today let's go straight to the point. Yeah. We were here somewhere last month when we celebrated Mother's Day. The whole country, everybody seems to be talking about Mother's Day, but Father's Day, I don't know why. What is the challenge? Why is Father's not celebrated enough, or is Father's not being recognized in our system?
Thank you for having one second. I think that there's a perception that we live in a masculine world. I mean, in a man's world. So it looks like there's a perception that culturally and religiously, women have been suppressed for a long time. So it's like it's the age, the season, the time we are in that they are trying to be recognized and appreciated. So there's like, you've had your time, it's our time. So that is why it look like when anything that has to do with men is not really celebrated, because like we are trying to appease the women that we have suppressed for all this while. So that's why
I think there's a discrimination somewhere, because I was telling my wife and my kids. Anyway, let's go straight. Bishop, today we are looking at combining effectively the role as a father and as a husband and as a career man. Let's start. Who is a father? I mean, if you say a father, who is a father?
Yes, I'm sure that if you work by the roadside and you see people, you ask them, who is the father? I mean, the normal thing that comes into the minds of people is that a man who has children, you know. But it's more than that.
Okay.
I mean, and for us as a church,
As believers,
or
yes.
as Christians, we have our definitions to any status any person will get into from the Bible. You know, so if you look at the Bible, the Father is supposed to be an embodiment of the characteristics of God on earth.
Okay.
You understand? So you, the man, you are supposed to exhibit and demonstrate and manifest who God is as a father on earth. So it is like you need to have, it's both spiritual, physical, mental, emotional. It has different dimensions, but it's a huge responsibility to be called a father.
Okay. So it's not necessarily someone who has kids.
No, anybody can have a child, but I mean, even assuming somebody gets raped and have a child, the child has a father, but in the context of the definition in the dictionary, but in reality, that man is not a father. So we need to situate the definition in a proper context for people to understand that.
Okay.
Because if you look the Bible carefully, when the Bible talks about the father of this or the son of this, it's talking about genealogical, you know. So the father becomes a kind of an embodiment of a generational gene, you know. So it's a huge responsibility, and it's bigger than just picking a woman and having a child. In actual fact, there are people who are married, they have children, they are not fathers.
They are not fathers.
Yes, because to be a father, you must be able to communicate God's intention to your children and make clear who those children are supposed to be on earth. So that's a huge responsibility. So if you don't know God, you can't be a good father. And if you don't know the destiny of your children, you can't be a good father.
Okay. Okay. So father, for someone to qualify to be a father, he must carry God image on earth. He must make sure the plans of God are being set rolling or being implemented on earth.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if that is it, then let's go to the next step. Then who becomes a husband?
Good. So if you look at your intro, I mean, talking about a father, a husband, and a career person, you know, I think there are three major decisions everybody makes on earth, and it has to do with your God, your partner, and your career.
Okay.
These are three major decisions everybody must get right, because if you miss even one of them, your life can be very terrible. And so, but one thing I know that if you get your decision about God right, it is very likely that you get the other two right.
Okay.
Unless you are a religious person, but if you're a spiritual person and you understand your relationship with God, you can't get your career or your marriage wrong. So to be a husband, in actual fact, if you study the Bible, if you look at Genesis 1, 2, 3, Genesis 1, 2, 3 is all that God wanted to do on earth. It is a summary of God's intention for man. And so if you look at Genesis 1, 2, 3, you see the man as a husband, as a father, as a career man, because apart from the fact that God gave the man a wife, they also had children, and then God also gave Adam a job to do. So the three things we are looking at are all captured in Genesis 1, 2. So we can stay there conveniently and deal and solve all the questions. If you look at the issue of being a husband, you see, you have to first of all understand God's intention for a man before you can define who a husband is.
Okay.
If you don't understand who a man is, you will not understand, you can't define properly the husband. Now, first of all, in Genesis 1:26, because this is a church platform, it's good for us to go to the scriptures, and because I know a lot of your people are studious, they want to study, so they want to know. So let's go to. Sorry, it's taking some time. I want to read some very interesting verses of scripture. Genesis 1:26, which is a very popular verse. Most of us are very familiar with. It says that And God said, let us make man. Okay, so that was God's intention. So God's intention was to make a man. All right. Now, if God was going to make a man, then we want to look at how the man was made. So in Genesis 1:26, the Bible says, and God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Verse 27 is very interesting. So God created man. Okay, so here's the point. God said, I'm going to create man. And then verse 27 says, so God created man. But look at what follows. It says, God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. So the original plan of God is that he's going to create a man. And in the mind of God, a man is a woman and a man. You know, it's a male and female. Let me put it out in that context. So when God said, let us make man, because that's what it says. It says, so God created man. But he created man, male and female. So it means that the husband and the wife are supposed to come from the same source. Now, if they're going to come from the same source, then they must have the same destiny. So a husband is somebody who has identified his destiny from the point of view of God and has identified a female who fits into his destiny. So you can't maltreat the woman. You see, because once you understand where you are coming from and you know that where you are going to, you need this person to get to that place, then you see how important that person becomes to you. And so that's why initially, even when God drove out the man went with the woman. The issue of even like leaving the woman and all never came into the picture because the woman became a major player in the life of Adam. He can never do without. Interestingly, I mean, and anytime I read the scripture, it's very interesting that, I mean, Adam can do without God, but he can't do with a wife. You know, it's very interesting because, I mean, God drove him out and he took the wife away, you know. But it tells you that his understanding of the woman was much deeper. Because he even called the wife the mother of all living. Now, he was also a living being. And he called the woman the mother of all living. So Adam did not see the woman different from himself. He see the woman as even better than himself. So a husband is somebody who knows his destiny, has identified a woman who fits into his destiny, and they have conjugated and they are living that singleness of purpose.
Oh, okay. So all these things is connected biblically.
Yes.
I mean, based on your point. So let's if we look at Adam, I mean, based on what you say, at which point can we say that Adam this time he was a father, and this time he became a husband? Do we have that? So at which point can a man call himself, now I'm a father, now I'm a husband?
If you look at the sequence, he was a husband before he became a father.
Okay.
You understand? Okay. And so that's the sequence. But you see, a lot of us turn it the other way around. You can't be a father without being a husband. You know, so we have to put the issues in the proper context and put them in order. If we put them in order, we're going to have a wonderful life. You understand? Because some people think that, well, I've done with you, the woman now. Like people spend more time with their kids and their partners. It's misunderstanding of the whole structure. And it's because of the sin nature. So once you do away with God, you're going to get into all kinds of trouble. Because if you do away with God, you have to find a way to fix things that God has already fixed, which is not broken. You understand? So the structure is that first he was a husband.
Okay.
Now, he was a husband before he became a father.
Okay.
You understand? And so the way Adam treated the woman is going to rub on the children. So the man's first responsibility, apart from God, if you come to the family setup, is to the wife.
Okay.
So the children are supposed to learn the family structure from the relationship between the father and the mother. And before the children will come, the man has assumed a position of authority and control, not control in the negative sense, but in terms of arranging it. Because you realize that when God came into the garden, he confronted Adam first. not the woman. At that time, there were no children. So God will say, no, you are supposed to know this. Before somebody becomes a father, he has to be a husband. And he has to be a husband who is doing God's will before you become a father. So you realize that when Adam becomes a husband, he has an instruction. Because the instruction that God gave him, he could not carry the instruction to you. He couldn't really communicate it very well. He couldn't supervise the handling of the instruction God has given him. He couldn't also handle his kids very well.
Wow.
And it became a challenge. So I believe that good fathers must first of all be good husbands.
Okay. We'll get there.
Yes.
Let's wrap up this first part with another definition. If someone say a successful career man, who is a successful career man? Because we are looking at these three things: father, husband, and a successful career man. So, who is a successful career man?
A successful career,
someone who has money.
No, I don't think so. A successful career man is somebody who has found his purpose in life and pursuing it. You know, because if you look at Genesis 2:15, where the Bible said that, and God told the man, it says, dress it and keep it. So right from the beginning, man was supposed to improve on what God has done. So the only way God was going to judge Adam as a successful person is if he is able to take what God has handed over to him to another level. So that's God's definition of a success. So the Bible says when God finished all these things and he has given the man job, he saw that it was very good. Now we know that in terms of grading things, we don't end at very good, we end at excellent. So man was supposed to take the work to an excellent level, you understand. But once sin came in, we couldn't even get to excellent. We have to stay very good and go down and kept going down. So a successful career person is simply somebody who has found his purpose in terms of gift and talent and pursuing it. And it doesn't really matter the returns. What is important is he's fulfilling what God wants him to do on earth.
Wow. Finding your purpose and pursuing it to achieve excellency is what we call a successful career man. It's getting interesting, and I believe that you are asking yourself a lot of questions. We'll get there. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Pastor's Desk on CACI TV, and we are looking at combining effectively the roles as a husband, as a father, and also as a successful career man. So far, Bishop has blessed us, and with me, as I said, that was Bishop Prince Benwood. He is the Leadership Chapel International, is the head pastor, and is blessing us so much. And I know that you are also being blessed. Bishop, before we go to the next set of questions, you made a point that before you can become a father, you need to become a husband.
Yeah.
And some too have this notion that they were raised by only one parent, which is the father, and so where does their question also fit? I mean, I don't know if you understand my question.
Yes, I mean, you know, once something is not done according to God's order, you know, there's going to be a lot of struggle. This single parenting is not the will of God, and that should be made clear. It's not the will of God. What God promoted was marriage. So if you look at himself, when he finished creation and he went to rest, he has put the structure of human existence on earth. So that is the pattern we were supposed to follow. But unfortunately, after the sin, then all these things came up. So single parenting is as a result of the sin nature or the fall of man and all that. So single parenting is a way of trying to do something outside God's pattern. And so if let's say you had a child with somebody, you didn't marry the person, but you are the one raising him up, you can only raise the person up from the practice of being a father in terms of the knowledge you acquire by reading or just extempore behavior and character.
Sure.
But there's something you can never give the child, because you see, you are supposed to have a relationship with a woman that will inform how you treat the children. Okay. So if you don't have that relationship with the woman, that will be missing. You know, so it doesn't matter how you try to raise up the child, that element of a husband before fatherhood is missing.
Yeah.
And that is something that it's prevalent in our world, but it shouldn't be encouraged, because you realize that God himself said, even divorce, he hates it. It means that he has no plan for single parenting. It's not part of God's plan in any way. You know, so you can do something because circumstances and the fallout of sin. So maybe a woman raised the child alone, a man raised the child alone. You can do something, but all things work together for good. But it's better that good things work together for good rather than bad and good working together for good.
We will be looking at it, maybe another production, Bishop, maybe I'll call you to look at it, because it's an issue. Single parenting is really an issue that we are facing. We meet people every day with their issues. You could read, if you go down, you realize that's the genesis of their problems.
It's an issue. For me, I think the church must address the single parenting properly.
Yes.
It disorganizes the growing up of children. It takes something away from them. It doesn't matter how good the mother or the single mother or father. It takes something away. We can't eliminate it completely because sin is in the world. But at least we can try our best to make sure that we reduce it to the barest minimum. A lot of single parents are doing great. I was raised up by a single parent, you know, my mother, you know. And so as much as I try to be a good father and a good husband, I know that there's something missing in my life. I mean,
Bishop, we look at it. Let's look at the topic for the day. I put this topic on my social media, and someone said, I asked who is a father. Someone just said, oh, father responsibility is to pay school fees. And he believed that if someone is able to do that, it automatically qualified him, and that is responsibility. Father, someone who's a husband, is someone who has a wife and go and come back and make sure he gives orders in the house, and those things are implemented. These are many views that I receive, but I want you, Bishop, let us know. Basically, let's start from what are the responsibility of a father?
I think that the first responsibility a father has towards his children, because when we say a father, we're talking about children.
That's right.
Is to give them love.
Okay.
Love is the first responsibility. See, once children begins to see things outside you as better, then you are missing out. I'm sure a lot of people watching us, and some of us, we had experienced village life, where we were brought up in a single hut with all our brothers and sisters. But there is nothing like the love that we get when we enter into that muddy house with the smoke and the food. That excitement is not something you can really put value on. That is what we need. The love that we are able to shower on our children. It has a way of keeping them closer to you.
Okay.
Because human beings need love. So if they don't get it from the closest people, the people who are closer to them, they will go outside. And anytime you move outside your circle of security, there is danger. So love is the prime thing a father must give. The second thing is security. Security is very important. And you know, I said something that, see, the Bible said that train up a child the way it should be. It means that the father must be first in the life of his children. You can't, teachers, pastors, elders, uncles and aunties can never take the place of the father. Okay. The father is the one that has been given the divine mandate to train up the child. So if you hand over your child to anybody, it's just complimentary.
Okay.
You understand? So security, you secure their destiny. You know where they are supposed to go and what they are supposed to become according to God's instruction. So that security is in the hands of the father. So love, security. And provision. That is an area that is a bit delicate because of the world we live in, where technology is always showing wealth and showing things that not all fathers have, you know, and so that becomes a big challenge, you know. But see, if you give your children love, you are able to use love to fix where you lack in terms of physical provision, because you can't provide them everything. But sometimes you can see that love has a way of replacing our inability to provide. There are some children, it doesn't matter how poor their parents are, they are always humble, submissive, and respectful to them because of the love they shower. So in terms of provision, it's very important. But we have to determine, we have to grow our children to demand according to our strength.
Okay.
That is very important. It's something that a lot of parents will miss out. We look at the people outside, we look at standard outside and try to give to our children, and we don't have the means. When you do that, you are exposing the children to danger, not yourself. Because at the end of the day, it gets to a point where your strength cannot continue. Then your children will have to look for other means of getting that. So we, right from the beginning, we must let our children understand and know the dimension of our ability to provide. So love, security, provision is very, very important. And then leadership. Leadership is so crucial, you understand? Because see, the Bible talks about Romans 8:14. It says, as many as are led by the Spirit of God, they are sons. You see, so a father is supposed to lead. You are supposed to lead. And a leader is somebody who has walked a path, know how it is, and can tell others to walk on. So a father cannot just hand over your case to, it doesn't matter how intelligent an institution is. It's not a replacement to the role of a father as a leader. The father is the leader of the house, is the leader of the children, and the children must always obey and follow his footsteps. It is like when the Bible talks about a pattern, you understand, the children are supposed to walk in the steps of the pattern of the father. That is a crucial element. So love, security, provision, leadership.
I'm not cutting you. You said love and leadership. Sometimes I've heard people saying, especially men, says that if you don't insist or create some how do you call some tension in the house, like your authority will be undermined. So it makes a lot of men or fathers in quote feel that